We're here to speak about our mosquito control program. What we do in response to mosquitoes and combat West Nile virus, what we do is we set out traps. We also make sure that we test these mosquitoes and ensure that they're not spreading the virus. The spray is completely safe. It's at an amount where it's not harmful to people, pets, or even pollinators, such as beehives and things of that nature. Our applicators, we make sure that they do it at a safe level, and we only do it when there's a low level activity. So we have a variety of traps that we will set up around the park. We'll show how we collect those traps, how we collect the mosquito samples, and how are they sent off to the lab.
Those traps help us to determine where those mosquitoes, where the hot spots are. They also help us to make sure that we're gaining control of the mosquitoes. So you hear a lot about control, but the way you measure control is by putting out those traps again and making sure that you're actually targeting the mosquitoes where they need to be targeted. We really want to focus in on the larvae, the smaller mosquitoes. And what we try to do is we try to target those mosquitoes and kill them before they develop into adults. And then that way you're not putting out insecticide, broad spectrum that you see sometimes, the big trucks with the spraying. We try to actually control them while they're out there in the habitat. And you do that by using briquettes, which is basically a solid piece of larvicide that basically stays in the water and slowly releases a thing called methoprene. So it's targeted for mosquitoes, nothing else but mosquitoes. And so that way you really can get a really good control over time. Now, when you go to adults, we have a thing called the ultra low volume machine. What that does is just that, ultra low volume. What that means is you're using a very, very small amount of insecticide, about 1 ounce per acre. So if you were to think about that, that's a really small amount. And what that machine is able to do is it takes that small amount and breaks that amount into small micrometers. And what you want are these small micrometers to land on that mosquito. And that's the reason why it's from a standpoint of safe, it's extremely safe because you're only focusing on getting the mosquito because it breaks it down. That droplet needs to land on that mosquito in order to make contact and actually deliver a dose that kills the mosquito.
So what this is a tablet. So all the trucks that have application equipment in the back have this tablet. And what it does is it actually has the zone that we're going to spray that evening. And if there's any hypersensitives or any sensitive areas, we can actually block those out. So as the truck goes through those zones, it automatically turns off.
So if you're outdoors during dusk and dawn, you want to make sure that you wear protective clothing when you're outside, whether it's long, loose sleeves to help prevent mosquito bites. You also want to make sure that your doors in your homes are secured. Make sure that there's no entry of mosquitoes that can go into your home. Make sure you want to dump things that may be holding water around your yards as well. And also, too, you want to make sure that you wear the proper mosquito repellent, something that's called DEET that's inside of that repellent. You want to use that, apply that. That will also help lessen the chance of you getting bitten by mosquitoes. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our environmental health office. We'll be sure to answer any questions that you may or all may have.